Okay.
So welcome everybody. It's a very big pleasure to welcome you for the second webinar of acrobatic gymnastics proposed by European Gymnastics. We are very lucky to have this opportunity, especially in this murky period. European Gymnastics and its president, Farid Garibov, is very supportive to acrobatics. And this webinar called First Steps in Acro shows how important it is for European gymnastics to develop this discipline. Today we registered around 200 participants, so they may arrive very soon. But that shows how interested gymnasts, coaches, judges, and officials are to make acrobatics grow. We have here 24 European countries, plus 22 participants from all continents, and I think especially from PAGU, so I would like also to welcome all participants and to thank you for joining us. I would like also to say a special welcome to new countries. Nikolay has already mentioned a few of them. We have Iceland, Norway, Romania, Slovenia, Serbia, Slovakia, that are not having yet acrobatics in their country, but we hope with this seminar, it will be their first step for them. The European Gymnastics Acrobatics Technical Committee is very concerned to support new countries, and in the continuity of this webinar, we will organize in 2021 some practical workshops in your countries to accompany you in the development of acrobatics. I also want to mention that once again, we are very honored to have with us Rosie Taymans, the president of the TC of FIG, and some of the members. I think Nikolina is with us, and probably some other members of the FIG TC. I will explain to you how this webinar will occur. You have received an email in which it was said that your camera is disconnected, sorry, as well as your microphone. So if you want to talk, do not hesitate to use the chat section or the Q&A section. I will do the moderator for this webinar, so I will summarize your question and pass them to Nikolay, to the expert of this webinar. As you understood, this webinar will be held in English only, and we had lots of questions last time, but you need to know that this webinar is recorded and it will be accessible on the YouTube channel of European Gymnastics afterwards. So just in a few days, just in the week, next week, you can find all the webinar on the YouTube channel. So now let's say a few words about the webinar of today. This is the second webinar that we will do. It is called First Steps in Acro, and it will be divided in two main parts. The first part will be more theoretical. The goal is to understand the different aspects of the training in acrobatics and the internal logic of the sport. The second part is more practical application with some highlights on the warm-up and the physical preparation. Our idea with this systemic approach is that all of you should get some interesting views, whether you're already involved in the sport or totally novice. It will be conducted by our special guest, Nikolay Ivanov. You may know him. He's a former gymnast. He's vice European champion in 2009. He's a coach for the Bulgarian team. He's a Acro member at European Gymnastics, and he's a senior lecturer in National Sports Academy Vasily Levski in Sofia. But I will now give him the floor and he will present himself much better than me.
Thank you. I think you do the best. I knew it. I knew it because yesterday Karin asked me that how I want to present me, but you do it the best way as possible. For sure. Thank you for that, Karin. Okay, for today, I really glad to see you because I couldn't see you, but I hope that we will be very soon to be in to see in face to face. But however, now it's a really good opportunity. Like Corinne says, it's the best opportunity of the about situation around the world. So we don't have a choice, and we will try to do our best in this webinar. So probably I can start to share, Corinne. There we go. Can you confirm that it's already shared?
Yes, it's okay. We can see your screen.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so that's we would like to present you the subject of our webinar today. It's the first step in Acro, like Corinne says. So we will try to explain the main principle of training in Acro, also some basic physiological, psychological, and pedagogical features in the training for beginners. And for last but not at least, we will present you some tool which we will help a new country and coaches to develop the acrobatic gymnastics. So what is the acrobatic gymnastics? It's acrobatics exercise appeared and antiquity evidence of which has been found during the excavation in Greece, also in Egypt, establishes as independent sports discipline in 1973. So the International Federation of Sports Acrobatic was born. So more than 46 years ago from the first World Championships. Acro still take audience breath away. It's a beautiful, for me, most beautiful and really difficult discipline. So, as you see on the slide, we have a 5 category: women's pair, men's pair, mixed pair, women's group, and men's group. So it's 3 main groups of exercise that are performed with the music and choreography. It's individual, it's one of them. It's you know, it's a tumbling element. The dynamic that you see on the slide, they are characterized by a flight fast from a variety of starting and final position of different type of somersaults, twins, and so on and so on. I don't spend so much time about that. Here is the balance, which are characterized by different starting position, pyramids, transition, on different point of support, and so on. Acrobatics gymnastics is a discipline that that is one of the best example of ability of human body to maintain balance. So it's we are a really good example about that. And there we go. I will try to don't spend so much time about the this theoretical part, like Karin says, but however we have to do it, because otherwise. Here's a general principle of training. So the sport training, it's a multi-layered pedagogical process. So we can divide it into 2 main groups: the general and specific. The general are pedagogical principles. They are characterized of every pedagogical process, such as here you can see just few of them. So the principle of the accessibility. So the idea of this principle is that the zone of the actual and the zone of the nearest development, the training should be oriented to the area of the closest development. So the training should be therefore assemblability should be should not be understood as training without difficulty. So it's from easy to difficult. Just step by step. The next principle is activity and conscientiousness. So they are the basis of the modern didactic technology to help to build the abilities, habits, and creative thinking in our gymnasts. And principle of individual approach and personalization. So this is one of the main pedagogical principles which show the need to approach each gymnast individually. Even to that we are a group discipline, we should take care about that. And there we go is the specific general, again, principle of sport training. Uh, like I already told you that I will try to don't spend so much time of this, but we have to cross to start from this point and to go more in the direction for Acro. So the focus of maximum results or achievement, as we call it. There is increasing social function of sport in modern society. That's why this is one of the basic principles in training. So I will try to explain what I mean. It's everywhere. If you have some good results in clubs, in some cities or national teams also, you receive something from your city. They help you, and this is it's put a little bit, not a little bit. It's much more attention in you, and this fact indicate an influence on the methods, on the structure and content of the training process, also on the volume and intensity of the load, as well as on all other aspects of sports training. So here is the continuity of the training process. So this means continuity of the sports improvement over time. The training is very annual process that provides a stable adaptation and high level of efficiency. So gymnasts, cannot start the training process for 3 months, after that to start for 1 month, then again for 2 months. It's just for example, but this principle is very important in acrobatics. Where is the general indicators of the training load as the number of the training days or training hours per year are one of the highest compared to the other sport discipline. Besides looking on our gymnasts as individually, we would like to remind you again that the acrobatic is a group sports discipline. That's why we have to understand the process of building of our unit, as we call it. So our category, that means women's, men's, mixed pair, and women's and men's group. So this process is always positive. It's always evolving and it's continuous as long as the unit exists. So the new partnership, even to already high level gymnasts, requires at least 1.5 years and sometimes 2.5 years to achieve a good interaction, for example, between partners, therefore a good results for Acro. So the next principle is unity of the general and special training. So these two main types of training should always be in direct collaboration. Here is the connection between basic, so the general, and the specific preparation. For example, during the warm-up, we should use the tools or elements which are in close correlation, so biomechanically, anatomically, and so on, with main task for this training. So let's say we have to learn some new element. Of course, we have to put in some segments during the warming up, the simple movement, and to prepare the body of our gymnast to do the next step. So to learn the new element, like this example is. So the next one is adequacy and appropriateness of training impact. So the main tool of influence is the training load, which must be adequate in order to achieve the necessary term for 1 week and cumulative effect for 1 or few years. So that principle means that I really like to say this because it's so it's remarkable. So sometimes we don't know how to walk, but we start to learn how to run. I hope that you understand me what I mean. So it's very often situation in our sport to learn something more difficult, and at the same time we miss the A and B and C and so on. So we should be adequate about the individual possibilities, about the level of our gymnast. So that this principle means. So the next one is the principle of cyclicity of the training process. You can see on the dynamic of the training level, it's related to the fast character of the development of training level. So this is the current condition. So time to reaching, as you see here on the screen, then to maintain and temporarily lose. Then again, the same cycle. The cyclicity of the training process is the way of the connection between different components as general and specific physical preparation, between physical and technical preparation, and so on. And the next one is the unity of the training and cooperative process. So this means that the whole condition during the training process must be close as possible to the condition of the competition. Of course, this one, it's not for 6 years old, this principle. So this principle increase parallel to the level. It's a simple example, different time zones. So we should organize, for example, the training session before competition at the same time as the location of the competition. And those kind of things. And the next slide, you can see the nature of the training load. So this is the process of adaptation, or as we call it, the wall of supercompensation. This is graph show how the principle works. So you can see the training, then of course the result is fatigue, then we have a recovery, and then we have a supercompensation, so the new starting point. And we have to take this one as a starting point for the new training. So it's very difficult for our discipline. For the other, like rowing, they use the heart rate measure and so on, and they can do it much better than us. But even to that, we have to try it, and we have to be careful about that. Here it's the next one is so you see the training, so it's the work, we have the recovery, supercompensation, then we start the next, you see on the blue one, we start the next work or training. Again, we have a fatigue, and again, we have a supercompensation. So it's a simple principle, and but it's very important. So on the next one, I will show you what's happening if we don't follow this rule. So your gymnast will go, as we call it, in deep fatigue. So the result will go down for sure. You see that we have a fatigue, then we have a recovery, but the next starting position, so the next training session, it starts before supercompensation wall, and before they go to the starting point for the first session, and then it's repeated, and then in the end of the week or end of the month, we as a coach said, okay, what's happening? Why we train a lot and then we don't have a result? So sometimes it's just biological, like this one, it's just process for the adaptation. So we have two options as a coach, to change our plans or the volume and intensity of the training, or to keep going like this, and we'll go in the wrong direction, as you see on the picture. And there we go, what's happening if we follow this rule. So your gymnast will improve every aspect in acro training. So this is we start on the next, so the point that it's higher than before, then step by step, and in the end we will receive the cumulative effect of our trainings in the end of the year or in the end of the month. So each training, it should be subordinated to the wall of the supercompensation. That is very important. Okay, let's go to the components of the sports training. So the sports training is a functional unity of the simultaneously implemented process of education, development, and improvement based on the different types of preparation. Here you can see the preparation. I do not put so much attention in the theoretical, tactical, and psychological, sorry, but we have to cross and to try to show how it's going in Acro. And okay, let's go with the theoretical. Why the theoretical? So the theoretical preparation of the gymnast consists primarily to explain to them the relation between all parties of training. That means we, as a coach, have to answer to the question, why we have to repeat the 100 times this preparation element, just for example. It's this process, I mean, by clarifying the mechanism of the training process, helps a lot for the motivation of our gymnast. Of course, we're talking about at least minimum 12 years old gymnast, not for the youngest. And it's really good that if you can explain and hope they understand why they have to repeat it 100 times, this preparation movement. So what is the tactical? Here is the tactical already preparation. What is the tactical action of acrobatic gymnastics? I can divide it by two groups. So one it's during the preparation period, and the other it's on the competitive period. So the choice of the element according to the individual abilities of our gymnast. This is the tactical action in acrobatic gymnastics, usually in the preparation period. So the choice of element is very important. I will tell you what I mean. We have 1,000 different elements, and it's not possible today perform everything. Probably somewhere, probably they can, but we have to be really careful. For example, if we have a low flexibility in the back and on our top, it's not necessary to perform Mexican as a handstand, just it's an example. Or opposite, if we have a long legs and the flexibility, it's much more than the straights, it's not necessary to perform a planche. So this is this principle means. So selection of the music, respectively to the choreography, according to the individual characteristic abilities. So this is the same here. So if it's I don't know if the English is correct, that if we have like a nervous system phlegmatic lady, for example, or man, doesn't matter, and we prepare the some tango. So with the really fast and really ordered movement, it's not a good idea. So sequence of elements performed in exercise. It's a very often we see that the some elements is performed in connection or in links with other elements that it's not so good, let's say like this. And also orientation of the elements. So this is the performance in regard to the judge's view. So the next one is the tactical actions during the competitive period. So it's not so many. We are not football. So the tactical action is to change the elements or to change the difficulty for the final. But for me, it's very risky, especially for the younger gymnasts. Such actions increase the stress during the competition, and also sometimes it's useful for the preparation period, but we have to use it very careful because I like to say that we do not play the chess, so that our sport is not like a chess, with all respect of this great game, but it's dangerous, and we always should keep in mind that the safety should be first. But it's possible with the high level gymnast to do the stress training sessions, to change some element just before they go on the floor or something like that. It's absolutely possible. Okay, however, we go to the psychological preparation. So here it's also divided into the general and specific. The general, it's focused to training process and to the preparation of the gymnast to ensure those psychological abilities that they are necessary for successful practice. And specific, it's focused to create a positive attitude towards the goals and objective of the upcoming competition in order to realization, so the maximum realization of the individual potential. And here it's some recommendation, as you see on the screen. So the permanent management of the psychological factors influencing the gymnast is needed, such as conscious motivation, regulation of the emotional state, mobilization, and so on. In Acro, it's special mental care must be taken, because mental attitude must be taken. So especially for the mental compatibility between the participants in group or pair. So that means partnership. So I performed more than 15 years in men's group, and I can tell you that the relation, so the partnership between the partners in this group is as, I don't know how to explain, but it's like in music rock band. So sometimes it's dangerous. And that's why we have to be careful about selection if we have a possibility to select the one of other gymnasts to be in this or to not be in this men's group. We have to be careful. We have a leader inside, or if we put the two leaders, we'll have a problem, and those kind of things. Okay, let's see just one test. It's a simple for the younger gymnast. It's a psychological test. It's a fair or not. Just put it on the block and go to the mat, and they have to land with straight body. So face to the mat and back to the mat. And it's really simple, but it's really useful. So just for idea, you can use it if you want. And the next one is the technical preparation. So the general technical preparation. So the main purpose is to create a wide variety of motor skills and habits in context of Acro, of course. That means fundamental skills and elements such as handstand on partner, jump, straight salto, also some skills that we call it basic skills. I mean about individual skills and in tumbling, for example, but to create, as we call it, the gymnastic style. It's very important in the beginners. The age between 6 and 9, let's say, or 10, it's a time that we have to create the gymnastic style. It's a very important. So, and specific training technical preparation, it's logical continuing of the general technical preparation. The main task is to master and improve the comparative exercise and their integration into the effective motor structures. So the technique for me, like you see on the slide, it's a simple, not only for me, but also the other people use this sentence sometimes. The technique is the maximum result with minimum energy cost. It's simple. And then we'll go to the technical preparation and some criteria for the rationality of the technique. So the biomechanical, physiological, mechanical, so anatomy, and aesthetic, of course, which are interdependent. Only the optional correlation leads to the rationality of the technique in acrobatic gymnastics. You see the stability. So this is the small deviation of the repetition in just one element of the motor habit. That means you can do it 10 times just jump, but if you don't have if you have a small deviations and everything it's almost on the same line, like we call it, this is you have stability in the in technique. And resistance is level of efficiency under different performance conditions. That means you can put it in more difficult condition. The element it performed, for example, they have to hold on 3 seconds, but they can hold on 1 minute in this element. So this is some difficult condition. Or just put it one pair up to the trampoline and to perform the same element, but not on the floor, on the trampoline. So in difficult conditions. So this is the resistance. And automation, it's characterized by automation of the motor action. This is the motor habit. This is the most important about technique. The basis of sport technique is the formation and transfer of the motor habits. Actually, in this regard, it's very important to say about the automatization of motor habit, which in reverse process. This is very difficult and long process. It's depend on the learning of degree. I mean, on the level. If they make some mistake about the motor habit, it's probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 times more difficult the reverse process, really. So we should be very careful. So in this context, they increase the importance of early acro specialization. I mean, the 8 years old. So one of the big mistake in teaching acrobatic is a lack of patience in coaches to lay fundamental movements. I have to say it because it's they want to cross this part and to go immediately to the double salto, for example. Okay, I will tell you another example. It's just before the children, you know, it's just I try to be understandable enough. Before children start reading, they first need to learn to alphabet, then to form words, sentence, and finally some stories. So what is the difference in acro? So many impatient young coaches miss this ABC when teaching, giving difficult exercise and routines straight away, and later this result is wrong transfer of motor habit. And one of the big mistake in teaching acro is a lack of patience in coaches to lay fundamental movements. Okay, so this foundational are built during the teaching of basic exercise before moving on the next level, creating harder and more complicated moves and combinations. So this is for the technical part. Here it's just some methods of improving the technique of performance of acrobatic gymnastics elements and exercises. So methods of repeats in standard conditions. So this is the method that we just perform. We repeat the same element in normal condition that it should be. Like in cutoff points, that this element should be performed like this, and you perform at this. So the next method is repeats in easier condition. This is it's usual for at the moment that you start to learn the new element, for example, and you put the mat, or you put the mat lower than the starting position of the element, the starting position, or the point of support of the base, or you learn just rowing back, and you put it in some places that they can use the gravity force. So this is the method of repeats in easier condition. Also the launch is easier condition, also for safety, of course, but we can help with the launch too. And methods of repeats in difficult conditions, this is the same, just it's in the opposite. Like Rosie says, undercount. So the method of repeats in difficult condition is just to make the repetition of the element in some different condition. You see some examples later about specific physical preparation in Acro. So just you make the more difficult conditions and to improve the technique. And methods for assistance and safe, it's very important method for me. So you have to be able as a coach to take care for your gymnast first, of course, but really with some elements, it's much more easy to use the method of assistance, plus safe than to put it just on the launch and to repeat it 100 times. Of course, this is my personal opinion. I work like this, but sometimes it's much more useful and much more the time for learning. It's much less than the other way. So, okay, let's go to the physical preparation. Now we'll put a little bit more attention here in context of Acro, of course. So the physical preparation, it's a complicated pedagogical process which aims at developing and improving the different physical abilities as necessary base for high-level results in acrobatic gymnastics. Universally recognized base for development and improvement of the sports shape and sports result in different gymnastic disciplines. So this is one of the physical abilities. I mean, the physical preparation. It's one of the important as a part of all other side of and kind of preparation. So there we go is the physical abilities. So the motor abilities are revealed through the shape of different movements made in time and space. Motor actions passes they on specific characteristic which determine the human's motor action, such as speed, power, or strength. And there we go. It's a component of the sport training, the basic physical abilities. As you see, the strength, speed, endurance, flexibility, coordination. So the optimal dependence give to us the sports result. So the physical abilities are measured through the technique. Sports result in gymnastics, also in acrobatic, don't measure the level of development of a certain ability, but the accuracy of execution. So it's a technique. In gymnastics, the physical abilities are demonstrated in a complex way, and especially in Acro. In Acro, it's the most abilities. It's so the good news that we have a place for everybody. If you have some more abilities about flexibility and you're top, you can be in top, and at the same time you can be in base, and it's a very very good for the Acro that can cover the more different people with different physical abilities. And which are the most important abilities in Acro? So I don't have an answer of this question actually, because of the things that I already told you. It's really difficult because usually the Acro the most of the more important abilities. It's a strength, so the power and the speed, but also the flexibility, also the coordination. So the endurance, yes, the specific endurance exists, but it's not one of the most important for sure. So depends on the position that you are in the unit. If you are at the top, you should be straight, but you should be flexible. For sure, speed and coordination, it should be exist. If you're the second base in trio, probably you don't need so much flexibility. Depends on the choice of element or the things that the coach want to perform. Okay, let's go one by one. We go to strengths. So it's a person ability to influence of current influence object, so partners in our case, from involvement, throat, muscle tension. So this is the theoretical part connected with the acro, but in acrobatics should overcome your own body plus your partner or partners, weight and inertial forces when performing acrobatic gymnastics exercises. So here is the type of strength. It's qualities, strength training methods. So the desired effect of strength training methods always falls into one of the following three categories or qualities. So it's a maximal strength, power, and muscular endurance. Maximal strength is the highest force that can be exerted by a neuromuscular system during contraction. The heaviest load that an athlete can lift in one item and is expressed as 100% of maximum or one repetition maximum. So power is the product of two abilities, strength and speed, and it's itself the ability to apply the highest force in the shortest time. This is it's a very important for the acro. Power is training by using methods that enhance quick expression of force, thus improving the firing rate of the active motor units. Power can be maximized only by using its specific method after a maximum straight phase of training, which means we have to go first to develop the maximum power and then to go to develop this one, but you'll see in the next slide is also. And the muscular endurance is a muscle ability to sustain work for a prolonged period. So there are four types of sport-specific muscles: endurance methods, power, endurance. So 1 to 30 seconds or less than 50, your incomplete rest, lactic power, muscle endurance short, it's a 30 seconds to 2 minutes. So it's a lactic capacity. It's much closer to the acro. And muscle endurance medium, so it's a 2 to 8 minutes aerobic power, and muscle endurance long, more than 8 minutes aerobic capacity. So on the next slide, you can see the straight force time curve. So it's a starting straight is expressed at the start of the concerning action. Explosive straight is the rate of which force increase at the beginning of the concentric action. Its level depends on the ability to either require more motor units or increase the firing rate of active units in order to increase force output. So here is the concentric power or speed stretch is taken together, starting strength and explosive strength. Maximum strength is the maximum amount of force the athlete can achieve in a moment. And you can see the different, so the isometric stretch, it's muscle creates tension without shortening or lightening. The result happens when the force generates equals the external resistance or when the external resistance is immovable. Isometric stretch can be up to 20% higher than concentric stretch. So the starting position, like balance elements, it's in acro we use it this kind of strength. And eccentric stretch is a muscle create less tension than the external resistance, thus the muscle length. Eccentric stretch can be up to the 40% higher than concentric. So the landing is this moment that our gymnast landed. We use it those kind of power. Okay, let's see what is the most important types of stretch in acro. So this is the relative stretch. So the stretch relation to the body weight. What this means? It's an absolute stretch, so the maximum stretch in our athletes, capacity to exert maximum force regardless of body weight. Relative stretch is the ratio between maximum strength and body weight. A higher level of relative strength is important in acrobatics. It's the most important actually for me, not only for me. So the training programs aim at increased relative strength to do so be elicited and neutral adaptation to strength training rather than increasing muscle size and overall body weight. So we can see here on the next slide what this means. So, sorry, I can come back. Yeah, the ratio between maximum strength and body weight is 2 to 1, or the coefficient is 0.33 in period. That means if the gymnast have a 1 kilo less from the personal weight, the relative strength increase with 0.33% per 1 kilo. That's why it's a very important. So let's say like this, if they working in 40 kilos, or doesn't matter, 75 kilos, it doesn't matter if it's a basic or top, before competition, which means at least, let's say 2 or 3 weeks before competition, they should go in some, I don't want to say the how many exactly because it's a really individual, but they should be less personal weight for these 2 or 3 weeks before competition. And then because we work with our bodies and with our partners' bodies, of course, but then especially for the top, it will be much easier. So this is the principle that okay, let's go to the general strength, and it's a foundation of the entire strength training program and should be the main focus in the first years of sport training. So contribution to the development of the athlete's general strength includes anatomical adaptation, hypertrophy, and maximum strength microcycles. Anatomical adaptation is developed to develop overall core strength along with muscle balance and injury prevention through tendon reinforcement. Anatomical adaptation prepares the body for the more difficult phases that follow, future increased throat and structural changes elicited by hypertrophy microcycles and the neutral adaptations that result from the maximum stretch microcycles. So now let's see just for the moment the video with the example. Sorry that I have to go out, but it was too heavy for the presentation. There we go. It's a just example and the general power. So we have an example here for the repeats and the sessions, but of course this is also depend of the individual possibilities. So we have for abs, for back, for the legs, and the first one for the arms and chest and back here. Just a simple jumps. It's a simple general conditions that it should be performed, especially in the beginning. Here are some elements that it should be prevent the injuries, and also develop the balance stability of our gymnasts, especially the little ones. For some of them, this one it's a very, very difficult, or this one for the legs, and especially if you don't touch the ground with the one of the legs, like this example here. Okay, let's come back to the specific, of course. And there we go, the specific strength training. It takes into account the characteristic of the sport, such as the ergogenesis, so this is the energy system of contribution. And the plans of movement, the prime movers, the joints, range of motion, and the muscles action should be incorporated progressively towards the end of the preparation phase for all advanced athletes. And so in specific in acro, it's connected with the much more elements and depends of the level. We can I will give you the example for the specific power right now. I hope that the videos is visible. Yesterday we checked it. I hope it's still working now. Obviously, it's a simple movement, but we use the partner as a weight. You can do it on the by handstand, by straddle, also with some movement with the base. So this is the improved, also the technique and the special endurance. Because if you have to repeat it, this one 5 times, so here it's something regarding to the dynamic elements. Again, dynamic, but different starting position. That is very popular in mixed pair, especially. It's not my favorite, however. And here also the other starting position for the dynamic. Of course, you can do it by walking, like on the methods about technique that I already present you the difficult conditions. So with walking on the base and with hold on unusual in some position, or with movements like this one. So depends of the level, you can put it with support, with here it's, see the movement with the shoulders. My colleague in the first webinar, the Dmitry Vinnikov and Rivas Gurginidze, explain about the sum of the elements that these muscles that with this element we devolving. It's specifically for the handstand, so devolving the shoulders and the back also. Here it's just power handstand during the walking. You can do the 2-in-1. You can do it in plank or the crocodile, sorry. The crocodile and also in plank, why not? So depends of the level. You can create, depends of your imagination. So you can create a lot of movements and you don't need to do any extra weight. Depends of the level, you can create something like this example here with the bent and straight arm in one arm, then to make the transition to the one arm straddle and so on. I hope that it was visible and understandable enough. And let's coming back to the specific stretch. Okay, now I will explain a few things about the intramuscular adaptation. So this is the maximum voluntary requirements of motor units development throughout maximum straight training can be transferred to the sport-specific exercises. Skill as long as its technique is known by the athlete. What this mean in acro? So the intra, that means the muscles in, so the motor units in, with those kind of elements that you already saw, you devolve we call it, I don't know, the English is correct. I hope that it's a Latinic sentence. We call it, so the hypertrophy, we have two kinds of hypertrophy. Sarcoplasmy, it's one of them, and the other it's connected with the motor units. So in acro, actually, we don't need it in sarcoplasmy, which means the volume is growth, but not the possibilities. In this way, actually, it's not so nice for us because we also need to be flexible and so on. But this is like a movement. It's like a movement, like elements that you can perform. With those kind of elements, you develop the right hypertrophy. And opposite, if we use only the weights, like in fitness, you develop the sarcoplasmic hypertrophy that it's not so useful for acro especially. And what is the intermuscular adaptation? It's with time, the nervous system learns the gesture fewer motor units get activated, but the same weight, which leaves more motor units available for the activation by higher weights. In acro, what this means? So the intermuscular, it's a connection between the flex and the extend muscles. This is very important also. Here, the activate by the same weight, it's very important to make the same forces. I mean, in acro, actually the balance is this one. If your partner push you 5, just for example, you have to answer 5, and then the forces will go in the correct position. Otherwise, you lose the balance for sure. And here there is a method and rules when we're working for straight. So every straight training should be performed. It's a very important. So this is really principle, and sometimes also not only the young, the coach with experience forgot this one. So every straight training should be performed on the base of the supercompensation wall. So performance when the nervous system is fresh. So the work for stretch at the end of the training is low sufficient as regard maximum and dynamic forces. So you cannot work for maximum or dynamic explosive power in the end of the training. Yes, of course, we can do it as some complex for the endurance and for one, but actually in the beginning it's much more useful, and the result, it will be much more better. Of course, depends of the level. I don't want to say the some kind of how many sessions and so on, because it's a really individual. Depends of the age, depends of the level, depends of the so it's a woman or man, or depends of the weight, depends of the so many things. But you have to find like one of the first principle of the training about personalization, about individualization. So exercises with maximum resistance should be done prior to this anterior extension. I think it's very clear. Speed exercise should be done prior to static exercise. What this means? It's not okay if you work for the static element. So that means isometric muscle regime that you already saw on the slide. And then we start to work for the explosive power. The muscles, it's not work like this. You can do it for the week, or for this session to work for the speed, and then the next session or in the end of the week to work for the let's say for the balance stability or prevented to injury, some isometric elements. That's fine. But if you put it in one session, the result, it's not be okay for sure. So the stretch exercise should be alternate with flexibility exercise. So this is also kind of prevent of injury, plus to make the balance between different physical abilities. You know that they are dependent, and it's sometimes genetically, as you see after a few slides, they have a more flexibility and less stretch. And about our tools, I mean the gymnastics elements, we have to switch and to find the balance between two physical abilities. Okay, let's keep going forward. Endurance. So it's ability of the body to continuously perform physical exercise without reducing FSC despite fatigue. So endurance and fatigue are two parts of single process work. So the fatigue is a condition of temporary lowering the working capacity and partial or complete termination of the work. So I don't spend so much time here. I will go directly to the types of fatigue. So basic endurance. It's an aerobic capacity of the gymnast which creates a necessary base to improve the specific working ability. Specific endurance is determined by the speed, the level of resistance, and duration of the resting period. So speed endurance, you see on the screen, straight endurance, agility endurance, this is the speed and stretch, and static stretch endurance. This is the different types of endurance. So of course we have all of this in Acro, it exists. We have a stretch endurance, we have a speed endurance. So this is the specific endurance in Acro, and it's one of the things that it's really difficult to improve each physical abilities and to make the balance between them in regard with the individual genetic potential that the sum of our Acro, not some, each of our gymnasts have it. And this is one of the things that it's very important as a coach to see what they have genetically, what you need or what they need for this position, and what you have to do as actions. And here it's just a few, it's again, like a physical preparation components of the sports training. You can see the constitutive development of three components of endurance in following sequence: aerobic abilities, glycolytic abilities, and allostatic endurance. So here is the Acro. So you see the first phase up to the let's say 12 seconds. Then we have an anaerobic glycolysis, and we are in the end of an anaerobic as a duration, and we should know how to develop the special endurance. So the aerobic capacity is very important in the beginning of the preparation period, but just on the beginning. After that, actually, it's more important to try to increase the anaerobic capacity, and especially anaerobic glycolysis. So which means that, and also one very important remark that with many repetitions of anaerobic, you also devolving the aerobic capacity of your gymnast. And I will give you the example with a few years ago, 7 or 8. We made one study with together with my colleagues from Department of Gymnastics of our university with all kinds of gymnastics. And in the beginning, we're thinking, okay, probably the aerobic gymnastic will be, they will have the maximum aerobic capacity. We do the VO2 max test, and then we saw that, can you guess who was the first one? It was the rhythmic gymnast. And at that time we think it, okay, we probably will make a mistake. Let's see again the papers, the the numbers, the Excel files, and so on and so on. But after some discussions, because the first study was in the preparation period, and for example, the rhythmic repeated a lot of times the full exercises, the full routines, even to preparation period. Then in Acro, it's not possible. Of course, it's possible for the youngest, but for the juniors and for the seniors, in the beginning of the preparation period, you cannot perform with the all element that you plan to do it for the competition. But the rhythmic, they can, if they follow the apparatus, nothing, it's not big deal. In Acro, it's not possible because of the safety. And we saw that in the preparation period, they perform 8 or 10 full per training, full routines. And with this short anaerobic glycolysis, because in rhythmic it's 1.5 minutes, I mean the routine, actually they developed the aerobic capacity, and they were on the top, on the first place from also from aerobic, also from Acro, also from artistic. Okay, however, we go in forward and we'll go to the speed. Also one of the very important components. So it's a human ability that allows him or her to perform the movements and displacement in the shortest time possible. So we have a time of speed, of speed, latent time of the motor reaction. It's the moment from that your brain tell to your nervous system, go to the muscles and already have some result, so some reaction. This is the latent time. It's a height, we call it height time. Speed in separate movement. This is just one movement that should be performed faster as possible. Frequency of movement. This is it's have a taping test. You can do it like this. How many times you can do it? How many touches for 1 minute? And the other type, it's ability for quick start of movement. This is also one of the things that somewhere you can fight like a demarrage. That means from start to the maximum speed, the time for that the gymnast to reach the maximum speed. Okay, let's don't start too much in the speed, and we'll go to the basic principle when we're working for speed. So this is it's really important. So sometimes we try to do something, but we don't follow this principle, and that's why we don't have a result. So to activate bigger number of motor units in the muscle tension. So not to running out to the supplies of so this is the adenosine triphosphate and creatine phosphate phase. So in our case, we can do it until anaerobic glycolytic part. So the resting intervals between the exercise should lead full recovery of the ATP and creatine phosphate and to remove the generated blood lactate. In Acro, especially with this duration of the routine, we have a lot of blood lactate. In this study, you have some person who has more than 40 millimole per liter. So, and let's see some rules when we're working for speed. So this rules is very important. The technique of the exercise has to be simple to realize maximum frequency with minimum effort. And then we work really for speed, not for some kind of endurance or something like that. The exercise to be well learned and to be automation, and as the focus has to be on the maximum frequency. To stop the execution, we as a coach, we have to stop the execution when the maximum frequency of the movement goes down. In the moment that, for example, they lick down on the floor and go to the pike position for the explosive power of the abs, I cannot tell you that it's a 10 repeats or 15 repeats or 20 repeats is the it's a correct repetition. It depends on the individual possibilities, but you as a coach, and the moment that you see that the speed, so the frequency of the movement goes down, you have to stop. Otherwise, you start to work for completely different physical abilities, probably some kind of endurance. And a speed to develop only when the nervous system is fresh, the same principle as the stretch. So in the end of the warming up, it's a good idea to do that. Okay, and we'll go to the coordination. It is a complex motor quality which reflects to the body abilities to coordinate the different movements in time, place, and effort according to the motor task. Coordination in gymnastics, including optional combination between kinematic and dynamic parameters of the gymnast exercises. So this is complex. It's, for example, if I hope that you understand correct. So the effort according to the motor task, that means you have to put the quantity of effort that you need to solve this problem, not the problem, to solve to cover this motor task, not more and not less. In Acro, this is one of the things that it's a very important, not only for the also because of the principle of the technique that it's so the maximum result with minimum energy cost, but also for the some efforts, especially in balance, that you need to be really good about coordination, to know what your partner do, how much he or she push you, and to answer and the same effort if you follow the biomechanically and opposite side, but we are don't go so. And the next one, it's I'll show the components of the coordination here. It's ability for quick perception and transferring to the motor habit. That it's, we already discussed about motor habit. That's one of the most important things for the technical preparation, and the ability for quick perception, that we call it talent actually, because they did it. You show something to, you present something to your gymnast, and they have just 2 repetitions, and they already did. And also transferring of the motor habit. So ability for space orientation for the dynamic elements, not only for the dynamic, but for the dynamic, it's very important for the tops. Of course, rhythmical ability and musicality during the performance of routines. So we perform on the music, and they should be able to have this coordination. And balance ability, the gymnast ability that the maintain balance, it's unstable body position. So in Acro, we have a lot of unstable body position, especially in the balance. Dexterity, so it's the manual agility. It's not so often in Acro. Kinesthetic ability for differentiation. Each gymnastics exercise requires well-defined effort from the neuromuscular system. It's the same thing that I already discussed you about this ability. Just to make the differentiation, what moment you have to put some kind of effort, how much it should be this kind of effort, and you can control this. And the reaction ability, it's a quick changes in work regime of the muscles, maximum accuracy in spatial and time characteristic speed of reaction. So in Acro, we have so many different type of regime of muscles. It's we have a explosive power on the legs, at the moment. Then you have a final position that it's, let's say, to handstand, which means you change the regime and stop in isometric muscle regime. Then again, you have some dynamic. Then you have some individual, also the choreography as a part of the all performance. It's we are very rich not only on the element, we are very rich also in this one. That it's really make our job as a coach much more difficult. And this is the principle where we work. I think I missed one. Yes, components. No. Okay, principle when working for the coordination. It's to use the new elements as a automatization of the motor habit, reduce effectiveness of exercises. So increasing of the coordination complexity with changes in the rhythmical structure of the exercise. So the new elements, that means that each session you should change something. In the warming up, we're talking about a little bit late for this later. With each, it should be step by step, and you should do the complicated movements all the time. So progressive acceleration, the execution without interrupting its accuracy. So which means you have to go faster and faster at the moment that you see that they already done some of the basic movements. Okay, we'll go to the flexibility. So I have something that it's about connection between coordination and the rest of the quality that it was really important. Probably it was here. No. Okay, however. So flexibility is the human ability to perform movements with the maximum amplitude. So in Acro, especially in the top, we develop this human ability and try to maintain balance between different abilities, as I already told you that. So here is the flexibility factors. It's the anatomical structure of the joints, elasticity of the joint, the ligaments and tendons, the stretch of the muscles, which are making the move on the certain joint, but the muscles tissue is adaptable. There is ability to increase its length up to the 50%. So additional factors like a temperature, outside temperature, and warm up. And there we go. It's the type of flexibility. It's inborn and acquired. It's active and passive. Sorry. So we turn on muscle effort for the active and under outside resistance. So it means we as a coach.
Nikolay, I think we have lost your microphone.
Yeah. Now you hear me?
I cannot. If the people, if the participants can make some information on the chat. Can you hear, Nikolay?
Can you hear me now?
No, I think for everyone, you're really far away.
So
Thank you for everybody to answer.
Closer like this, but did you hear any sound? Can you hear me now?
Not better.
And now it's just happening just now, or it was all the time?
Still the same.
just unmute. And now? Can you hear me now?
No, not better.
Okay, let's try to do something. Now? No?
No.
Okay, if you want, I can.
Yeah, you're back.
I'm back.
Yes.
I do nothing strange. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Keep going forward. I hope that you don't miss so much of this. So here is the type of flexibility. It's an inborn and aquarity and active and passive. So active it's with on muscle effort, and the passive it's under outside resistance that we as a coach use it all the time. And static, dynamic, and ballistic. The static it reaches and maintain the certain amplitude of stretching. The dynamic is a result from the muscle effort and not the inertial forces. So the ballistic it's amplitude above the maximum range of the movement. There we go. Here it's a okay. The flexibility recommendation. Flexibility exercises to be done with many repetitions. The amplitude has to be progressive, increase it after every repetition of the exercise. So only after a very good warm-up. The load and character of the exercise should be individualized. The place of the flexibility exercise in the training is not fixed. But for me, it's better to be in the end, or if you can use it the whole training. But it's not a good idea to start with the flexibility exercises and then to do some kind of dynamic elements. I hope you understand what I mean. Okay, and more recommendation about flexibility. It's one of the abilities that it's very important in Acro. So the static exercise for flexibility only after good warming up. I already repeated, but increase its heart rate and breathing, increase its body temperature. Hold position, it's not more than a minute. Of course, sometimes it's possible, but some study says that it's not more effective than if you stay two. And gymnastic balance, pivots and jump and leaps require static or dynamic flexibility. You have to be flexible and capable. So your core is what is going to hold you and your leg up. So keep in mind too that the flexibility, it's just one half of the puzzle need to lift your leg. So you need the muscles too. And that's why I already repeated a few times about the difference weight between physical abilities, and we should be really, really careful about that. And then we will go to the, in fact, static stretching can also have a negative effect on the muscles contraction, decreasing your ability to get into the air during jumps and interfering with the control and landings. Correlation between hips flexibility and back flexibility is negative. So which means you should be very flexible in the hip or in the back, and opposite for the other. Okay, let's go to the stretching. It's very rare to level of the static and dynamic flexibility could be similar. in most of the cases, the dynamic flexibility is greater than the static. Multiply repetition on the flexibility exercise is necessary, a slightly stretch of the muscles. With bigger number of repetition and trace of the exercise are built up and the resistance of the muscles is getting smaller. With every repetition of the flexibility exercise and the amplitude should be increased. Of course, this should be again individualized. Sorry, it's you cannot put the same how we call it, to put the same value if you increase the stretching flexibility in men's group than in the women's pair or mixed pair. So it's we should be careful about that. So the recommended duration, the starting position is maximum amplitude. So splits or going splits minus is from 30 to 60 seconds. Rest interval should be 10-50 seconds up to 2-3 minutes if you have some extra flexibility. So into the warming up to apply passive flexibility exercise up to 30 seconds. But actually for me it's less. It's maximum 10-50 seconds during the warming up. Of course, depends on the task what we have to do in this training, but and the dynamic, so the active exercise for flexibility to be before the static one. So at the end of the training, when desired the develop flexibility, one maintain position, it's just split. And here it's a stretching recommendation that it's into the warming up, apply passive flexibility exercise up to 30 seconds. And dynamic exercise for the flexibility to be before static one. And so I will go forward. You can see on the slide, and you can see on the video after that for sure. And we will go forward for the genetic control of the physical abilities. So here is the abilities with the strong genetic control, speed and flexibility. It's very depends of the genetic, and that's why we have to be careful. They have some limits that you cannot change as a coach. It doesn't matter what kind of tools you use, what kind of methods, and so on. Some of the like you see on the slide, physical abilities, it's a strong. They have a strong genetic control and less possibilities to change this one. Then you can see the abilities with the less genetic control. It's a coordination and endurance that it should be developed. Depends of your purpose. And here it's I will go, so the strength depends on both on the factor genes and on the development, and also development in training, I mean. And so that means you can put a little bit more attention also in regard that it's a very important physical ability in acro. Okay, we'll go to the sensitive periods. That it's periods of decreasing the genetic control and higher sensitivities of.
Nikolay, as a keeper, as a timekeeper, and I just need to remind you it's already 3:30.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I have
so we could go quick to the practical part.
Yeah, I have 3 minutes to finish this one, and okay, thank you, Karin. This is just, it's a very important information, and I don't want to skip it. The sensitive periods to decreasing the genetic control and higher sensitivities of different properties of the organism. So the stimulants to influence them, which is the training effects actually, and the critical period. So the next one is the things that it's a very, very, very important. The sensitive period for different physical abilities are so with different dynamic speed and duration, intensity of the time. So as you see on the screen, the speed, it's 11 to 40 years old. So 15 years old is the maximum maintain up to 20 years. So this ability, we should use as a coach this period. Flexibility again at the same age, and coordination the same age. Of course, that not means we don't do the development before or after that, but here is this is the sensitive period, and we have to keep in mind and to put more attention in these physical abilities. So the stretch, it's slow development in the period of the 11, 13 years old, and also 40, 17 years old. Endurance, actually it's 20 years old maximum, and maintain basic endurance up to the 55 years old. And there is just the time necessary to reach the necessary time to reach the necessary level of the physical condition. Here it's a training per weeks. I have another things about, but it will be after the practical part, about the methodology and those kind of things. So, and this is the last, actually, Karin, we can stop here now. I will skip some subject, and if our coaches have some kind of questions, probably we have to wait a little bit.
Yeah, so if any coaches has some questions about the general presentation of the training principles in acrobatics, so otherwise, so you can write it in the Q&A section or in the chat. Otherwise, we're going to go to a more practical presentation. I don't think we have any question. So
okay,
I think you can go on, and we will go back on.
Okay.
Question if there are.
To make the connection about this theoretical part. Okay, the next one, it's a warming up. So one of the very basic things that it's for me, it's really important. And here on the next video, you see the principle that I follow this principle. Here it's the general, completely general. It's you can use it the some kind of apparatus. In this case, it's a rope, but you can use it the gym bar, the ballet bar, or something like that. So we started with the shoulders or some kind of coordinations, because the shoulders, it's most complicated and joint in our body. We should be very careful. Actually, the injuries, it's happening because of the so many years small injury. So they start only with lift the arms, in this case with the rope, just in one direction. Then they have some kind of swing with the arms, and they have circles, as you see. So we started from the head, let's say like this, it will be easy, and go down to the body. Now to the shoulder, a little bit more attention of the shoulder, and then the next one, it should be the side muscles from left to right. So if you have a possibilities, we are lucky in our university because we have the few ladies that they perform on the piano, and we can use it the music accompaniment, and it's very useful. So now they go to the stretching the back. Now the repetitions here, it's a less, just it's a, for example, and then we go to the hip and to the legs. So the principle is this one. You start from the smaller, and go to the bigger muscle groups. Of course, the some base movement for me, it's I already told you that it's a really important for the to create a good motor habit. Here we go to the abs muscles, and then the next one it will be for the back. Here is the back. So I will repeat it one more time. Start with the arms, with the shoulders, just with the simple movement. You can start also with some coordination exercises. Then you go on the side muscles and the whole back to stretch the back. Then you go to the legs, then the abs and back, and then you can do it some more difficult, like this one, that to use the more than the muscle groups. With some kind of jumps and so on. So here is the, okay, almost the final of this, just really general warm-up. So we needed to do those kind of general warm-up for our beginners, because we're talking about for the little kids. Of course, we will use, as we call it, the game method. So for now, and here we'll have a little bit long video, but we'll do it with a little bit more specific, so not so general and close to the acro. Of course, we have 2, 4, 5 minutes to prepare the whole body system for training, which means the heart rate, the breathing, and so on and so on. So it's a different kind of we call it figure movement. So figure, because they created some kind of movement. It's just a method of organization of the training process. I will go a little bit further. To start with the, okay, now we'll start with just with the ankles. So that means this principle, it's not means to follow just like this. It's depend of the what you want to do. Okay, now we'll start with the ankles, but again with the smaller to prepare the ankles and foot preparation for the training. Here we have something that it's for the knee and also for the arms, so it should be combined element. It's not necessary to do it one by one like in the general preparation. And at the same time, it's have the coordination. So they have to squat and to move on the 4 beats down and 4 beats go to up. So as you see, it's not so easy for them. Actually, just few of them perform it in the correct way. So the next one, it's again on the wall, and for the wall back and for the side, because it's a switch. The left arm go to the right leg and opposite. Here a little bit more attention for the legs, but for the muscles, with jumps with rotation, a half rotation in left and right, and then right and left. And as you see that if you are the coach, you have to see that they don't use the muscles very well. And after that, if you put it on the some pair or group, they will squat and they will stop in the same way like here. And this is it's not correct. You have to. That's why for me it's very important to do the correct and the properly warming up. Here it's again some jumps, but it's some coordinations. As you see that these guys, it's not so good in coordinations. The ladies actually it's better. And some of them it's a miss this first year for the about creation of the gymnastic style. Okay, we have some jumps here. Here I have put it a little bit choreography, steps and jumps, also as a part of the warming up. Again, hips. Here, the only one difference that the organization it's do it on the places. Here it's a little bit more for the muscles of the back and on the arms. Here it's a rowing back. Sorry, I have a little keep going forward because it's just example. We don't need it to watch. And after I present you the next two, you have a possibilities to watch those kind of things. So also one of the things that it's very important that you have to have a plan what you have to do for this training and to try to put it as some segments of this to put it during the warming up. This is it's a very help for the process of learning and process of training the new element. Also, as you see, you can use it always the left and right side. It doesn't matter what is the favorite. They can do it the cartwheel in left only, but always try to use to improve the both sides of the muscles. Of course, the top stay, the most of them stay in the right hand, but that not means to forget with the left. Here is the same for the cartwheel. Of course, every gymnast have the favorite side, left or right, but always try to improve them parallel. Here they try the double, but it's terrible. So here it's a little bit more specific with the jumps, with the courbette after that. There's some individual skills also that it's useful for the group element. So I will tell you a little bit later about the some recommendation about the age, but always the some kind of game, even to this age, it's really positive. If you have a competitive character also, it's fine. But for now, it's, of course, just a moment. Okay, it's a kind of game that it's try to develop the speed. And the other kinds, it's for, let's say, the explosive power of the legs, but always it's so emotional, and it's always it's positive. So it's a very important to put some emotional competitional moment on the training. With the kids, with the beginners, we are obliged as a coach to do that. So that's why it's with this method, we develop the some physical abilities. Here we have some kind of this base movement, as you already saw, and some elements for the stretch, for the power, just for the before the training, as a part of the, or in the end of the warm-up. Okay, so I will skip this one. I think so. Here it's a good ending. It's during the training, always keep the atmosphere positive. It's very important. Okay, let's go back to the our tools. So, Karin, can you confirm that it's visible for the?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
So this is our project in our TC in Europe in EG. So it's just a few words. It's an idea. It's coming from I think 1.5-2 years ago that we just discuss it about the workshops, about new countries, and even to that we put the effort as a TC, and also the FIG put the effort to have the more country in Acro. There's something it's happening. They don't have a purpose. They don't have a I don't know. They don't have a goal. They don't have a target to reach or something like that. And that's why the idea it's born this platform. So the first philosophy it was to be really simple, friendly use, and as you see on your screen, I will start with we make some competition format. I don't spend so much time here, but it's some format that give you the final point. So the final point to start the Acro is some country, and to have some kind of national development and competition program, because the most of the country like Bulgaria, France, Great Britain, Russia, and so on, we have for this age we have a competition. As we know, the FIG Technical Committee also did a very good job with the 11 to 16 and with the program, but this actually it's before that, and that's why we make some simple structure that it should be. I don't stop now because we don't have a time, but it's some simple competition structure that try to regulate the rules, and of course it's open to how call it to make the modulation of the individual possibilities of every each country. But here is the basic of this, like a technical part. Also, of course, we have a we have elements in that it's in the principle of adequacy and the principle of to start from scratch. Here is the element that most of them it doesn't exist is the cutoff points, but it exists in the different programs in the different countries. So we put it some element that they can perform. So it's very simple. You just have a number, add the number, you see the special requirements. It's not so difficult, but it's really simple. So you can start, and you can already have here it's a balance for straddle with a different position as a tuck, here with the support. And I think this program, it will make the some purpose of the new countries plus the educational part of this platform. But this is one of the very important things, because our experts did some workshops somewhere. Everything is cool, everything is fine, and everything is very good. But then after 1 year, we don't see that the person that start to do that, and we try to support them, but we don't have we don't have some extra tools. One of the good things of these tools that it's possible to upgrade, and to upgrade all the time. So here it's also have the handstands. It's not only the so simple element. Have the so it's some trios. There's some parameters here, really simple. As you see, it's more than 500 elements. Okay, and then we'll go to the, let's go first to the condition. Here it's just simple videos with the conditional, with conditioning videos. With the, it's very short with the, I will stop the sound. There we go. It's some just like a tutorial. You have repeats with sessions. You already saw one of example of this general. Here it's some element for the preparation of the back, straight of the back, and for the power handstand. Okay, I will come back. And here it's, we come back and we go to the acrobatic tutorials. It's again really simple elements. Like here, we have some sound. Probably you will hear it. I don't know. Now we will see. Oh, sorry, I didn't play.
1. Bases must ensure that their roots are at the same height. 2. Bases work together and not independently. 3. Hand position for the bases must match the top's hand.
Here you can see the preparation elements, the main thing that you have to know for the element, the common mistakes.
1. Shoulders moves forwards. 2. You have to take the legs at the top and keep as close as possible to the body.
So the idea in the philosophy, it was to do it with the simple as possible way.
Bases are either too wide or too close, making one base in front of the other. Shoulders moves forwards.
So the most of the video have common mistakes and also explanation how to help. But the idea was to be short as possible with just the main things that it's important. However, I don't play the videos now. It's it will start to reach for sure, and we will come back to the tutorials. Sorry, and here it's one of the main thing for me that it's a very important. We have the workshops. We have a lot of theory and a lot of practice. We have a theory for the warming up and principle. So we have the other workshop for the training methodology, basic condition theory, also the specific theory, how to plan training and competition, volume and intensity of the training. So it's a lot of aspects of the regarding in Acro, including the workshop about the tables of difficulty, so how to fuel it and those kind of things. So here it's a different Mexican cannonball, the different starting position in theory, and also the practice part that it's also it's a lot of workshops. It's a different kind of warming up, the workshop with the ballet preparation. So the handstand, the workshops for the handstand in pairs, planche. So the interaction between gymnasts. So you can see the same names of the element, but it's presented by different different experts, and it's for me this is one of the very good things. So twist front and back, and of course more difficult elements here like a flag, like one arm, pitch double straight or pike dismount, diamond, and so on. So this is the one of the it's like a library, and we can add the more and more of this, and to create the great database. So that's all for the platform. As you already know, it's really simple. You have a competition structure, which means you have a goals as new coaches. You have a lessons and videos how to do that. You have a workshop practice and theory of the different elements. You have a condition, and then if you're some expert, go there to make the more to specialize to more focus in some aspects. It's much more useful. So the idea is like this. I hope that I'm sure about that. Actually, it will work much better than just the one workshop for 2 days. Okay, so we'll come back just for the last 2 minutes to some basic principles. I repeated some of them. It's each training should be subordinate of the wall of the supercompensation. So the intermuscular and intramuscular coordination are improving from everyday training. The physical preparation training should be of a very specific character, as you show on some of the videos. In the different periods, the proportion between physical and technical preparation depends on the gymnast individual characteristics, also of the level. As you saw on the video, you can do it parallel, the both. So this is the general advice for the beginners, 5-8 years old. So physical and motor development. So it's be aware that the very fine leap, legs, and weights that may affect balance, so momentum and speed. For example, if you ask your gymnast to raise their arms above the head, check that the arms above the head, it's the distance from elbows is on the top of the head, if you understand what I mean. So in this case, they cannot do it the bridge in this age, or some of them, of course, it's possible, but it's some anatomical things that you have to know. Also, the backward rolls, it's harder and almost impossible. So we introduce the strength development.
I think we have lost you again, Nikolay.
Let's try to do something. Now?
No.
What you have to do? Try to move something.
Okay, so while you're trying to solve the problem with your microphone, we have a few questions. The one that I can already answer. is it possible to upload the presentation to mail? So no, the presentation will be on the YouTube channel of European Gymnastics. And there are questions about this platform. So as you can see, this platform is really made to give coaches information about how to do really on the practical aspect, on techniques, on very simple elements, as well as on more high level elements. This platform will be on within the next weeks. So as a participant of this webinar, you will receive the link of this platform, but you cannot find it yet. It will be just within a couple of weeks. So we will give you all information as soon as possible. And just one more thing I wanted to add regarding this. On this program, you can also have a development program in FIG. The idea of this program, the competition program, is only to help to give some pedagogical progression for the pyramids, because this is not only made to give a structure in the competition in the country, but also to give you some indication of how to go from one pyramid to another pyramid, because of course we talked a lot about all the general aspect of the training here, and we didn't go really further into the technical aspect and into specifically the pyramids, but you will have the possibility to have to know more about this through this platform, or also through any workshop that we will do and support to do in your country. Nikolay, can you try to see if you're...
Did you hear me now?
No. All right. Anyway, I think we will have to close this webinar. We have it was the second webinar of a series of 4 for this first year. We will continue the webinar on 2021 with some new subjects. So of course, do not hesitate to send us your suggestion for the future, for what you would like to hear. I would like to thank Nikolay for the presentation of this webinar. Sorry to have to interrupt you. And of course, we will still be at your disposal to support you to grow in all of your country. I would like to give you a new meeting point on the 28th of November, because we will have Lorenzo Franca that will cover the planification aspects of the training, and I hope we will see all of you very soon.
Bye-bye, if you hear me. Thank you for your attention. It was a pleasure. The pleasure was all mine.
Bye, everybody.